The biggest test tour in the history of test tours is Australia and India in the Border-Gavaskar Trophy. Welcome everyone to what should surely be an exciting 5-test series in our career mode. There is the Indian team. It looks probably a lot different to, I guess, what you would expect. None of the superstars of today there, but maybe some of tomorrow potentially in that side. Obviously, I don't pick it, but the game picks it. It's 2028. It's going to be very different. And India have won the toss here at the Gabba. And in the opening test, they're going to bowl first. Bit of a strange decision, I think, for the Indian side to want to bowl first here at the Gabba. Maybe they're expecting a little bit of extra bounce and pace and that they can trouble this young Australian, fairly inexperienced side here. As we see Matty Renshaw make his way towards the middle with Will Pucovski, of course, the two openers for Australia. And so far, so good probably for the Australian side. It's 3 for 133. I'll make my way to the middle. 550 to 100, a high score of 135. As we get our scoreboard up here, it is 3 for 133. I'm in with Jason Sanger. We got Doob bowling to me to start. That's a nice delivery. Early, little bit of shape here. 3 for 133 off 33. Quite interesting. Obviously, we've come into this series as the captain. Our first opportunity to have a big series like this against the Indian team. And there's no one really that I recognise on that Indian side. You know, we're so used to that superstar Indian team of Kohli, Bumrah, Shami, Gill, you know, Sharma. There are so many of them that should be, you know, probably still playing at this point, let's be honest. But India has, you know, given us a different look. Even guys like Siraj should probably be in this team, but I guess the game has not allowed that, and we'll just have to go with what we can. That's a bit of a loosener, and we'll get off the mark on ball 8, as we have lost wicket number 4 at the beginning of this over. Didn't really take too much notice of that one, but there's really only a couple of players on this Indian team I do recognise. One of them is this man, Kumar Reddy. The other one is Jaiswal, who's also in here, and Pandey as well. Be more runs. Oh, that is nice. It's almost a full toss, and I put it away for 6. In fact, it was a genuine half volley, and we've dispatched it here at the Gabba. It's in the gap. That'll be nice. Probably just a couple of runs, although it is just getting away from the fielder. It does go to the boundary for 4. No run. Down the ground, a couple of more. We've worked our way into this a little bit nicely. We've only really had the 4 scoring shots, I think, for our 14 runs off 20 balls. But we've started the innings nicely, and we've got to build into this. Ooh, nice. That's a no ball. And another boundary. And all of a sudden, we're basically at a run of ball, given we haven't done that whole heap of stuff. We've just sort of played the bad balls when they've been available to us. And again, it's just another full toss or, you know, genuine half volley. Should be able to pick up 2 more here. Move to 24 from 25. Oh, lovely shot. Through the offside, although it is going to slow up. Again, just the 2 more. We push through for that. Now, this is going to be obviously a very interesting series later in the year. You've got Australia and India who will come up against each other in probably the biggest test series, you know, we've seen in a while. Australia played India in India last year. I think it was 3-1 India the result, or was it 2-1 India maybe the result? They won the first 2 tests. And Australia couldn't work their way back into it. I think they won the 3rd, and maybe the last one was a draw or something like that went on. But obviously the biggest test series, you know, in the world is still the Ashes. But this would have to be pretty much a close second at this point. You've got, oh, that's a nice delivery. You've got the 2 best cricket teams at the moment. This Australian side has won just about every single thing that has been put in front of them, including, you know, the World Test Championship final, which they did beat India in after that series that we did see in India, and that was obviously a game in England at the Oval. So Australia won the World Test Championship. They won the One-Day World Cup. They won the Under-19s World Cup as well. They just finished a summer of 6 and 7 in Test matches, of course, with the only loss coming to the West Indies. Lovely drive, that. 4 more. And of course, India had that big series win against England in India earlier in the year, where I think the result was 4-1 after they lost the opening test. So it does set it up as, a really, really interesting game. Australia sort of maybe have a few potential players out of form heading into that. Obviously, Steve Smith as the opener maybe wasn't quite the success Australia was looking for. We know Cameron Green was supposed to be the guy who was going to open in that series against, the West Indies and the New Zealand series. But Smith, sort of rallied himself to sort of take that position, and he hasn't really excelled at it. So is that going to be a problem for Australia in this series against India? Travis Head and Marnus Labuschagne maybe haven't quite been at their best as of late. I think Marnus has had, almost 40 innings without 100. He did have a big 90 in his last innings against New Zealand, or in his last test match against New Zealand, so that, I guess, helps. But what the Australian team has done so well, recently is just someone will play well. Someone will step up, whether it's Mitch Marsh, whether it's Travis Head, Smith, Khawaja, Labuschagne, even Cameron Green has done it. Even Alex Carey has done it. And Pat Cummins, of course, time and time again, is there not only with the ball to break a big partnership, but with the bat, he's there at critical times. So while this is probably the most under threat Australia has been in a home series, or at least going into a home series, it's a team that just wins and knows how to win. And that's why I'm so interested to see how the series goes, because I think that we could end up with one of the best series we've seen in a long time. And India, obviously a team who has performed well here, is going to make it as competitive as it can be. And likely what we'll see, not only at the end of the series, but once again at the end of the World Test Championship, which I think is next year, is that I think we will see Australia and India play off again in the final. They already are sitting 1 and 2 at the top of the table. It doesn't look like there's another side who's really going to excel enough to be able to find themselves in a position that they will get to that top 2, and especially if this series, is close like we expect, that's probably what's going to happen. In the air. And in the gap enough. That'll be 4. Not a great shot, but pretty good in the end. Edged, taken. There's the wickets. Just the bit of extra pace that Doob is providing. Gets me on the drive. Thick edge. Catch taken by Kumar Reddy. It is 5 for 199. And that still looks like quite a good first inning score by the Australians. Going to be close to 400. And in response, 3 for 85. I'm going to come in with the ball in hand. Oh, that's very, very close. Very, very, very close. A finger goes up. Smashed him on the front pad. It's not a heap of turn, but it's straightening beautifully enough. Or does it pitch in line? That's maybe the question. It is turning quite a little bit, but he's decided to go. It's 4 for 86. Let's have a look at the ball tracking. It was pitching in line. It was hitting in line, and it was probably clipping the off stump in the end. It was just. That is about as good as you can get from my point of view. A wicket in my first over. Terrific start. It's 4 for 86. Oh, that's good too! Yes, it is! Gee, it hasn't taken me long. Look at the turn. That is absolutely spot on. That is just perfection. That's crashing into the top and middle and leg, I think. 5 for 89. Let's have a look at the ball tracker. Impact was in line. Wickets crashing into middle. That's about as good as a delivery as you can get. It turns enough that it's bamboozled the batsman. And we've got India 5 for 89. I've broken whatever little resistance they had just in that partnership. Australia well and truly in the box seat here. Oh! Missed the stumps by a minuscule amount. Oh my goodness, again. Again. I mean, India in absolutely all sorts here. It is 7 for 100. Like, I've got a couple of wickets. Everyone seems to have got a couple of wickets. They're 290 behind. There's so much pressure right now on this little pairing to just score a few runs, because I think I'm quite an aggressive captain and I definitely would love to enforce a follow on here. That's close. Does it pitch in line is the biggest problem. Umpire says yes. Wicket is given. And he's going to send it upstairs, I assume, because about where it's pitched. Which is given as in line. It looks very, very close, but it is given as in line. And the wicket's going on to hit. So we're probably a little bit lucky there, to be honest. But we've got the result we were after, which is that it remains out. 8 for 100. Also, I kind of get that there's no umpire's call for pitching in line, because it's not, there is no issue with it. Like, that's exactly where it has pitched, so you should be able to know that. Anyway, it's 9 for 101. Another wicket's tumbled. 9 for 101. Hudson and Krishna at the crease. India in all sorts. I've got 3 for 4 out here in the middle. So based on how the dismissals have tumbled, which is predominantly bowled and LBW, the pitch has a little bit in it, clearly, that it's nipping around and just causing a bit of chaos here for India as they're 9 for 101. And it doesn't take us long to get those wickets and then enforce the follow-on. And Lance Morris already has a couple as India are back at the crease. It's 2 for 75 in the second innings. Edged onto the stumps. There's the wickets. And once again, we deliver. Just a little bit of something nice. It's a fairly newish ball here, maybe. It's 3 for 83. Oh, that's nicely played. Shot through mid-wicket. It'll be worth a couple. Probably not a boundary, but they might be able to run forward, depending on how slow this man is to get back to the ball. Oh, they want the fourth. Can I run him out? Oh, gee, they've done well to get back there, because I put in a hell of an effort. Oh, it's off the pad. I just wonder, is the footwork not working here for Vasa? Can we find one to turn back in and smash him on that pad? There's this big crack right in front of where Vasa is batting at the moment. Just trying to see if it creates some hesitation in him. It's 5 for 103. So 4 for 103. Got a couple of slips in here that really haven't been utilised at all. So I might just try to get it a little bit wider of the crease here for Lala. Just create that little bit of extra doubt that, you know, not only the turning one back in, but the one that could potentially go straight on or turn away is going to get me that wicket that I'm looking for here. Gee, that's pretty much a full toss. He should have put that away. And my figures in this particular innings of 1 for 22. Not anywhere near as good as I think the 3 for 4 I had in the first innings. But of course, India are trying to stay in this test match by forcing us to bat again. They need another 173 runs in order to do that. And our team is just absolutely ripping through them. There's 3 more wickets. Cameron Green, Xavier Bartlett had a couple. And my figure's now 1 for 22. Pretty good. And we've swapped ends with the ball. Do you reckon round the wicket potentially a decent option here? Obviously, we mastered that round the wicket, especially to the right-hander in a place like Pakistan, where we played on some of the more dusty wickets that, you know, there were some big footmarks we could work into. Perhaps that's something we try again here and now. But Lala's going to bring up the 50 for Madaka Lala. 50 runs off 79 balls, 7 boundaries in that. Just keeping India somewhat entertained in this matchup. They've only got 2 wickets left, but sort of need any runs really to keep the game going. In the air, that'll be runs. Tell you what, the number 10 wants to take me on. I wonder if this choice does go back to the toss, with India winning it, choosing to bowl first, which meant obviously that they were going to have to bat fourth, but Australia started so well with the bat, put on around about that 400 mark, and since then India really haven't looked competitive at all. They were ordinary with the bat in the first innings, and with the second innings it looks like they still won't have enough to be competitive with Australia's first innings total. There's another dot. Oh, that is a zipper. As it zips past the outside edge of McDowell. And again, get it right on the stumps would be absolute perfection. Almost back to me. Just haven't found this last couple of wickets easy, have Australia. They've just sort of taken the foot off the gas perhaps a little bit. Oh, and that's absolute perfection. We take the big wicket. Avlala gets through the gap, hits the top of middle. Nothing else he could do about that one. It's 9 for 213, and Australia just the 1 wicket away now. Monty Hudson joins McDowell in the middle. They're in obviously all sorts of pressure. And Bartlett does the rest, who ends with 5 for 59. Xavier Bartlett, what a terrific performance with the ball. Australia winning this by an innings. And 64 runs, absolutely terrific. And I've actually won your player of the game performance. I don't think there was anything standout that I did here, but enough to win the best on ground. So it's a good start to this series for the Aussies. Obviously beating India 1-0, and it was a great result. You know, I think we've just obviously played fantastically as a collective, and I think that you know, an innings plus win at any time, whether it's in a first test of a series, in the middle of a series, or at the end, is just exactly what you want. Maybe you could give the player of the game to Mackenzie Harvey for his 123 not out, the only century in the match. That's probably worthwhile, to be honest, given no one else really played that well. So I feel like they definitely got the player of the match wrong. But 3 for 4 in the first innings. I think I had 2 in the second. 5 wickets and a 40. It's not really player of the game worthy, is it? Mackenzie Harvey, robbed. I just wanted to check real quick here, because obviously we're coming into this series against India, who have quite an inexperienced side, or at least that's what it appears. And you can see where their test ranking is at the moment, which is quite low down here. Just 52, their test ranking. New Zealand, obviously the best competitor that we've got in terms of how they're going in the world of cricket at the moment. So definitely this isn't the strongest Indian side we've ever come up against, but still a challenging series. That first test we played at the Gabba. We'll do the second test in Perth, but we'll save that for the next video. So thanks for watching, everyone. Hopefully you did enjoy today's matchup against India, and we were going to continue this series as we go along. Australia 1-0 at the moment. The end of today's video.